Yes, indeed. And we're live and direct from the S&G Highlight Set. That's right. It's yours truly, Amar Mari, CEO of Synergetic Network Group, LLC, where we are your community liaison for entrepreneurs and consumers. And we have Queen Shanda, Bray in the building as promised. And on this afternoon, I promise you that once the Queen get done, you will be without excuse about accomplishing your goals. Synergetic Network Group LLC Highlight is a solution-based program. We don't come on here to complain. We only come on here to gain. We come on here to heal you from your pain. We believe in you putting on a garment of praise with the spirit of heaviness, and you be anointed with the oil of gladness. And that's right. So for those of you who are tuning in right now, if you be so kind to make sure that you share and invite this program. Those of you who are business owners, please put your information in the comment block. And we get ready to get started here in just a little bit. You're in for a treat. This is my fellow native, Rochester, New York native. We're going to talk about that. Yes, sir. From rags to riches, from the bottom to the top. And through faith, we won't stop. Yes, sir. My good brother, King Reese Rance in the building in a beautiful Sunshine State down there in South Florida. My fellow entrepreneur, keeping the cars blinging. That brother got that Midas touch. Do you understand? He got that gold touch. For those you don't know, he got a detailing business. And it is absolutely phenomenal. He have you shining. Yes, sir. Get ready to go live here, live and direct on the set. Once again, make sure that you visit www.elkevinonlife.com. We provide African men and women's clothing and accessories, health and beauty products for your needs. www.elkevinonlife.com. We have a layaway plan for you. We have a split pay plan for you. We have the other plan for you. When my wife put in there, I'll be able to tell you once I remember. And you got to have fun with it, family. You get ready to go in. Make sure you share the bike, If you don't, it just ain't right. Sharing is caring. Not just a cliche. We live by it every day. Our attitude is servitude. Lafayette, my brother Jashir in the building. And we going live and direct on the set yet and still. Oh, this message is going to go. I love it. That means that we got something to do. We got something to do. Hey, make sure you check brother Jashir out. He has a program. Brother Jashir, if you will put your information there in the comment block so everybody can join you on your program that you do, my brother. Please input that information. We get ready to go live and direct. We have our guests back on, and we'll get ready to begin this program. Queen Shanda, how you doing, cousin?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good today.
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. We greatly appreciate that.
Yes.
Hey, so check it out. You know that I definitely celebrate your successes because you and I, we both come from the rough part of Rochester, New York. And we're going to talk about that with you on the day. Now, you accomplished some great things. You know, you have your master's in social work, and you're also a mother of 5. You're a pastor's wife. You're a first lady. Okay, so the queen that you are today, what did you do to get there in the position that you're in today as it relates to your successes, spiritually and naturally? Talk to us about that.
Okay. So I think for me, it definitely starts at home. If you have a strong, supportive family that instills positivity in you, it doesn't matter what setting you come from, you will grow and excel. And so for me, growing up, my mom used to always tell me, you are more than a statistic. She used to tell me that all the time. So every time, any setting I went into, any school, whatever, wherever I went, I always had that in my mindset. I'm more than the numbers. I'm more than, the negativity. I'm more than the status quo. I'm more than how I'm betrayed or portrayed in the media. And so I never fed myself those negative images.
Mm.
And despite that, despite what was being said, I continue to push forward.
Now that's powerful right there. I like what you said because you and I, we had a powerful dialogue and we talk about the importance of the mentality
Oh, yeah.
because you are a perfect example, cousin, that it doesn't matter what a person's ethnicity is.
Mm-mm.
It doesn't matter what zip code someone comes from. It doesn't matter. The restriction is the mindset. Now, you and I, we had a nice discussion in regards to the mental health piece. So let's incorporate that in this dialogue on today. Talk to us about the mind power that it took. I mean, you have a husband that's a soldier that deploys a lot. You still had to take care of your 5 children. Then on top of that, you are a foster parent and you still got your master's in social work and you come from the hood. So something good come from the hood, don't it?
Yes, it does.
So go ahead and share that with us. Talk to us about how you accomplish your goals still. I mean, you're a wife, you're a first lady, you're a mama, talk to us about that.
So I think that definitely my relationship with God definitely shaped my direction as well, my self-view. There's so many different scriptures in there, words of affirmation. You are fearfully and wonderfully made. You're the head, not the tail. God has something great in store for you. And so those things have always also been in my mind, at the forefront of my mind, that also keep me pushing. But from a mental health standpoint, I don't know if you are familiar with cognitive behavioral therapy, but that definitely focuses on the mind. And primarily, it's like if you look at the triangles of cognitive triangle, but basically it says that positive thoughts shapes positive feelings, and that will produce positive behaviors. So when you have positive thoughts, that will help you to produce, like I said, just think positively, to feel like, we all go through different situations, but it's all about how you perceive it. If you perceive it in just in a negative and a defeatist way,
Mm-hmm.
then that will produce negative and defeatist behaviors.
So is it safe to say then that not only does faith come by hearing, but doubt come by hearing too?
Oh yeah. Yeah. The
So
thing is,
let's talk about that.
Doubt come by hearing.
That's right. Let's talk about how doubt comes by hearing too, because you was talking about speaking positive affirmations over your life, right?
Yeah.
So that means that there obviously was some thoughts that opposed who you really actually are.
Mm-hmm.
So talk to us about how did you defeat those thoughts of doubt sometime, or and how you got worried sometime, and sometime you wanted to just tap out. So talk to us, because we talked about having that mental strength. So talk to us about how you conquered your own thoughts and the oppositions that you faced before you accomplish your goal as a master's holder today.
So I think for one thing, I had to see the strength even in my weaknesses. I had to learn how to see the strengths even in my weaknesses. A lot of times, we have a tendency to be so encouraging to other people. We can see the best in others, but when it comes to us, we don't see the best in ourselves. And even with my weaknesses, somebody can come to me and say, "Oh, I struggle with this, I struggle with that," and yet I can see, "Oh no, wait, I know you see it as a limitation, but look how you can use this to your advantage." I have a tendency to do that for others, but I had to learn how to do that for myself. There are times where I was going through where I had doubts, where I felt like I couldn't make it, and unfortunately, I didn't have people to come to me and tell me, "No, you can do it. Turn it around." So I had to how to encourage myself, and I had to learn how to see, like I said, the strengths and my own perceived limitations. And then again, why were there perceived limitations? Why did I perceive certain things as limitations? Was it
Hmm.
based on what people have told me in the past?
Mm-hmm.
Was it based on what God told me?
Mm.
When you really look at it, you'll see that a lot of things that you see as weaknesses, you were told that maybe by the media. You probably were told that by the dominant society. You may have been told that by someone who is jealous of you, and you hold that. You think that's your weakness for the rest of your life, and it might not be a weakness at all.
Hmm. So that sounds like a beauty for your ashes situation.
For sure.
So let's talk about how you was beautified throughout the process. What did you learn through what you went through in your life? Share that with us.
What I went through in my life, what I learned.
Yes. What did you learn from the things that you went through?
Definitely learned who was with me all along.
Yes.
I learned that it was nobody but God who was with me all along. And I learned too that, like I said, there were things in me that for the longest time I thought weren't in me because they were criticized, overlooked, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or or I was told I was less than. And I had
Mm.
to look and say, you know what? No, like I have something to give. I have something to offer.
Mm-hmm.
So like I said, I had to, turn those weaknesses that I have held on as weaknesses for a long time into
Mm.
strengths. Um, like I said, I had to learn God for myself. I grew up in church, but I didn't know God. I didn't know God. I knew God through somebody else's eyes.
Mm.
And based on their opinions, a lot of times, unfortunately, I'm like, man, I'm not good enough for God.
Wow. Wow.
I grew up in church, but I felt for a long time I wasn't good enough for God.
Yes. See, now we tapping in. Now we tapping in because that's what I meant by doubt cometh by hearing too.
Oh yeah.
So what were some things then that you heard that shaped your thinking to cause the queen that you are today, the confidence you have today? But at that time you didn't have that. So what was said during that time that influenced your mentality that had you incarcerated like that?
I was told well actually I experienced colorism within the church.
Hmm.
Because I'm actually the darkest one out of my sisters. I actually resemble my father more so.
Hmm.
So I
Hmm.
experienced racism within the church. I
Hmm.
experienced as I began to develop, people who I respected, even the mother of the church one time said, oh, her shape is kind of like distorted, kind of looks kind of like similar to like maybe like a horse. So I was like
Wow.
experience growing up. And it's easy to put your guard up against the world, but when you experience stuff in the church, when you're not expecting it, when you try to let your guard down, those things hit you and it cuts you deep.
Hmm.
Deep.
Hmm. So it's safe to say then that from the words, it
Oh,
brought doubt about who you actually are.
yeah.
And it caused you not to believe in yourself. It brought about low self-esteem,
Yes.
right? You
Yeah.
know, and so with that being said, then you had to reverse. So faith covered by hearing. So then you had to start speaking life over your life to bring life to your life.
Yes.
Wonderful, wonderful. So what did you do to do that? How did you get yourself out of that mindset? What happened?
The Lord sent me my king, man. My Lord sent me my husband. Oh man.
Watch out
Like
there.
the Lord sent me my husband. And seriously, like that was an eye opener. Like it was finally where I felt like I had permission to connect to God. I finally felt
Uh-huh.
like permission to be myself in God and draw near to Him, to learn
Mm.
of, and before I didn't feel like I had that right or that privilege. I felt like I had to go through my leadership to get to me.
Wow.
And for the first time I learned through my husband, like, no, like you can go to God and pray and connect and, love on him. And I remember growing up, we used to wear layers like jackets, long sleeves, because it was, we had to be modest. But
Hmm.
we were so many layers. But I feel like it was bondage. Like, now
Ooh.
it was bondage. All these layers we had to wear.
Mm-hmm.
And again, one
Mm-hmm.
time I finally got married, my husband's like, "Babe, it's hot. You don't have to wear all those layers." I was like, "Are you sure? Because I don't want to be in sin." He's like, "You're not in sin. You don't have to wear all those layers outside. It's hot. It's 90 degrees." And that was the first time I finally removed those layers, but it led to like a freedom. It led to me, finally, feeling free in God. And like I said,
Wow.
for myself and developing, and man,
Wow.
definitely life helped me to shape that. Now my mom and my dad, they gave me that foundation.
Uh-huh.
They definitely instilled that foundation in me.
Mm-hmm.
But you know how you go to school and you're, just growing up, you encounter, criticism and, mistreatment, and that does affect you. But when I met my husband and he instilled this positivity in me and like encouraged me to connect to God, it was just, that was awakening for me.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So from what I gathered then is that your mindset influenced how you lived your life, how you perceived yourself. So those words were painted on the canvas of your mind
Oh
and
yeah.
formulated the view that you had of yourself. It painted the portrait of your life.
Yeah. It never stopped me though. That's the thing. It never stopped me.
Ah, okay, okay.
Every endeavor that I took on, it was always like a struggle.
Mm-hmm.
And I always expected failure before success. But
Mm-hmm.
I would push on and take on new challenges every time. But when I finally met my husband, I finally took on challenges with the mindset that I can win.
Hmm. Hmm.
That makes sense?
Now,
No, you're not? Oh,
now let's talk about you coming from a impoverished area. You and I both, we come from the 585, Rochester, New York. We both
well, of
have
course.
defeated poverty, having a poverty mentality,
Yes.
living in poverty. Okay, and you escaped that. Now let's talk about the systemic issue that you had in the public school system and just the racist atmosphere that you were embedded in.
So I guess for me, like we grew in Rochester is predominantly African American and Hispanic. So growing up, I wasn't necessarily exposed to non-black. I didn't really know what was set in place systemically to hold us down. But it was during my I think my junior year of high school,
Mm-hmm.
I had the opportunity to sit on this student what is it, student ambassadors committee. And when I sat on this committee, that was the first time where I was finally able to meet and greet and talk with other students from various schools. So students from suburban schools, students from private schools, all of us came together, right? And we are all basically meeting with the school board to discuss some of the things that we need and want, for our schools.
Mm-hmm.
And I know the trend where all those students who are representing city schools, right? We're
Mm-hmm.
all asking for basic necessities, like, school basic necessities. Can we just have, more teachers? Can we have, updated books that don't have profanity scribbled in every page? Can we just have updated equipment? We're asking for these things. Whereas my counterparts, those who went to suburban schools and private schools, they were like, we got that. We got books. We got equipment. We got technology. We're good with that. Can
Hmm.
we study abroad? Can we study to, go add on more locations to study, to travel to? Can we
Mm-hmm.
have options for college courses and electives? Can we have more lunch options? And I'm like, it brought me to tears. I remember speaking and like tears are streaming down my face because I'm
Hmm.
like, oh, that was my first time realizing, man, I realized, wow, wait a minute. I've been shortchanged in my
Hmm.
education.
Hmm.
I have been shortchanged. So this whole time, I'm thinking that we are all being provided equal access, right? Equal education,
Mm-hmm.
right? That's what happened with Brown versus Board of Education, right? That helped us to receive, equal, right? Not just separate, but equal, but equal. And I'm thinking, wait a minute, there's nothing equal about what's happening right now. We're begging for clean facilities and books, and people who are already receiving those.
So how did you deal with that? I mean, being that now that you're a scholar now, you know, you're credentialed now, you have a master's in social work now. Although you may have had poor literature and the facilities wasn't in a good state of police, neither was our neighborhoods, because you and I, we come from the same neighborhood. So with trash all around you, trash talk, trash in the physical sense, how does someone like yourself become this diamond out of the rough? How did you adapt and overcome and become the scholar that you are today, the queen that's taking dominion today? Talk to us about that process and how you ended up where you are right now.
I knew that I was going to have to work twice as hard. I know we hear that saying, you're gonna have to work twice as hard just to, you know.
Now you didn't just pray and not do your studying and do your tests.
Definitely pray, definitely, right? But that I was gonna have to work twice as hard just to catch up, not to keep up, just to catch up, you know.
So it sounds like some faith and some works mixed in there. You didn't just pray, you actually studied and you did your work.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
But I realized that. I realized before I even started college, I was like, you know what? I gotta catch up. I gotta read more. I gotta figure out, you know, who can I go to for tutoring. Like, I can't go to bed at 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock. I gotta stay up. I gotta study.
So you telling me you didn't just go take your test and just pray at your desk that day and ask God to download the information? You didn't do that?
Oh no. No, listen, I'm a praying woman too, guys. But listen, like you said before, faith and works. Faith and works. He's not a magician. If you don't study, you're not gonna know.
Right? So you put in the work to make it work then.
Oh yeah, had to.
So you allow God to put some super on your natural.
Definitely.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. And for me, I can't look at other people. Like, I can't look at other people. I had to look at, okay, stay focused. Your only competition is Shanda. That's your only competition. I couldn't look at who's running faster than me, who's running slower than me. I couldn't do that. I had to keep my eyes on where God was leading me.
That's powerful. I like that. And it's simply and it's well said. So, Queen, what would you say to women out there that's struggling? Because I want them to hear it from someone that looks like them. I want you to take out this time to minister, to talk to the women who feel like I'm a mother. I have all these children. I have these chores.
Yes.
I'm a wife, in certain situations, or even women that are single and, they have, all these responsibilities. I want you to be able to share, because you are a foster mother too, on top of having your own 5 children and a wife of a preacher. And then you had your own personal life and you come from the hood. And on top of that, you're an African woman. Notice I didn't say a minority, because you're not the minority. So, you're welcome, sis. So talk to us about that. Tell us, how did you accomplish your goal in the midst of all of that responsibility?
So some of the things I learned just in my experience obtaining my master's, number one, let go of mommy guilt. Let go of mommy guilt.
That's the first time I heard that. That's good.
I know many of mothers who, whenever we take on any new endeavors in our lives, or we do something professionally or career-wise, we always had to put that disclaimer out there. I do love my children. I do miss my children. I wish I was home. And it's like we feel obligated to say that. Now we love our children, but it's like we feel like we gotta say it. And I know for like, for men, and you can tell me what you think about this, but for men, they work hard, they start businesses, they do all that, they go out to work. They don't necessarily have to remind people, well, I love my kids, right?
Well, some do.
Some do.
Some do. You know, I have to be honest about that.
Okay.
You know, but yes.
But I feel like for us, it's like we gotta say it every single time, and we do. It goes without saying. But like we had to let go of mommy guilt, because that's one of the things that holds us back from going back to school, from trying to excel in our careers, from trying to, it's because of that mommy guilt. And man, believe me, and while I was in school, like I dealt with it all the time. I dealt with it every day. Like I just felt this guilt, like, man, like, my kids, I'm studying, I gotta go to my internship, I have to do this, I have to do that. My kids are missing out. And I had to work on addressing that. I had to work on addressing that mommy guilt. So something that I did that was, first off, I stopped following other people's rules. Stop allowing other people to dictate how I parent. Every people's, their feelings and their opinions to affect, what I'm doing for my children, for my right?
Yes, I like that. Get rid of that cookie cutter
Let it go.
parenting, because that doesn't work for your situation. It doesn't fit for you.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So stop allowing it to come in there. Stop allowing people to, plant those negative, oh girl, your kids they gotta feed themselves, they gotta fend for themselves. Don't take any of that. Don't allow any of that stuff to take root in your mind. Rebuke it. If you gotta block some friends, like take it out your mind, but don't allow people to set rules on how you parent. I think also stop being so critical of yourself. We are sometimes the harshest critics of ourselves. I'm not good enough for my kids. I failed them. I'm not there enough for them. They're not going to love me. Stop being so hard on yourself. I one time asked my mom, I said, Mom, I said, would you be friends with somebody who talks to you the way that you talk to yourself? Would you be friends with somebody who talks to you the way that you talk to yourself? Sometimes we're so hard on ourselves and tear ourselves down.
That is so true. That is so true. I'm glad that you mentioned that, because I believe that some people, they become handicapped mentally by that. And they use that as an scapegoat. And I wanted people to hear you talk about it. Now, I want you to go more in depth, because I know there had to be some type of scheduling. I know you had to do some type of balancing, because again, you need time for yourself, you need time for your children, time for your husband, and time for your studies. So talk, how did you juggle all of that and make it work to the point today that we know you as one who possesses a master's in social work? Talk to us.
Can I be honest? So guys,
yes, please do.
Initially, no schedule at all. Initially, I didn't make any schedule. I was it was like, guys.
So you're a floater, huh? You just drifted.
It was just I had no schedule set up. I did not. I was struggling because prior to that, like I said, I fostered and I was a stay-at-home mom for a period of time, and so I kind of when I first entered college, I didn't really plan. I didn't really set up reminders for myself. And so it wasn't until probably like my third or fourth term where I finally was like, this is stressful. I got to set up, a system. By the fourth term, right? Prepare myself. So for me, what I did was I would go look at my syllabus before because you get it before school starts. So I looked at my syllabus and I looked at the due dates for everything that was due in that, within that year. And I always planned it out where I want to get it done like about 2 weeks beforehand. If I can, I would purposely set it up to get it 2 weeks done 2 weeks beforehand. And so for me, that just kept me ahead of the game, kept me ahead of schedule, but that's how I set it up. And so if I did kind of, go over a week or two, I was still on time, but I wanted to give it in earlier. For my children, I dedicated certain days for them. Like this is our Bible study day. This is our hangout day. this is our game night. So I make sure I kind of put that in the schedule. And the same thing for my husband, kind of make sure I plan certain days and times for him as well. And so by doing that, by doing that by my fourth term, by setting up a routine, a schedule, it was less chaotic. It was less hectic, and I felt like I finally had control of my life. You know, I felt like I finally had control of that. You know, my college career, and yeah. But it took me. I had to hit the wall a couple times. I definitely had to hit the wall a couple times. Yeah, before I found.
But you eventually got it.
Oh yeah, eventually. My husband was telling me, babe, do it, set a schedule, and I'm like, okay, babe, okay. No, I'm thinking I got this. I could do this, you know. But no, you got to set up a schedule. Like you will fall behind, and man, stressful.
Now, see, I like that. See, I like your honesty. So let's talk about your mindset during that time period. What was your thought process? I mean, how did you feel during that time? Was there any moment where you felt like giving up? You were fatigued. You was weary during that time. You know, let's talk about how, because we talked about mental health. We talked about mental fitness, prior to us coming on the broadcast. So let's talk about you maintaining that mentality that thrusted you over the finish line for you to be able to have your credentialing, your master's in social work. So let's talk about that. With being a mom, being a wife, being a pastor's, wife at that, so, and then having your own personal life. So let's talk about how did you put yourself in that type of mindset to where you were able to accomplish that?
I had to learn the power of saying no. I had to learn the power of saying no, right? And what I mean by that is, sometimes when you're taking on new challenges in your life, when you take on goals, sometimes people don't care or don't realize that you are taking on an endeavor and that requires your time, that requires your energy. And so I had to try to decrease my load myself and say, I can't take on all those obligations. I got to cut this down. I can't do monthly, Bible studies. I could probably do every other month, I can't do monthly engagements. I got to break it down. And so I had to learn how to say no, even with fostering, because even as a parent, if you don't know the rules, if you don't know your rights, social workers and case managers, they will take advantage of that, right? They will take advantage. They'll have you driving, transporting kids left and right. They'll have you doing, taking them to all these appointments. They'll tell you last minute to, bring stuff in. And if you don't know, then you can say no, right? You'll do all these things and you'll fall behind. And unfortunately, I think I experienced failure. I actually failed a class one semester. And it was because of the fact that I was my husband was deployed. I was watching and fostering 8 kids.
Wow.
My husband played 8 kids by myself, right? Still doing things, but I'm still taking care of.
You were still in school during that time?
In school during that time, but I'm transporting kids left and right. I'm taking them to appointments. I'm taking them there. And I was struggling. And what happened was it caused me that semester where I fell behind that semester and I failed. And when I failed, right, nobody cared. Nobody was like, oh, Shanda, we believe you still, or we're going to pay for those books for next semester, or, nobody cared. Nobody worried about it. And it's about me, Rashonda, right now, you got to invest in yourself. Right now, this is something that you're doing for yourself, right? And you got to know. It's going to be a 2-year period, right? But you cannot keep doing like this. You're not going to make it. You cannot keep on taking all this load. It's too much. And so even during that time, like right now, I don't foster anymore because I know I want to transition to working and becoming a therapist. But during that time, I had to say, like, okay, no more foster kids. Referrals. Oh, Rashonda, please. No. Rashonda, can you take the no. I'm only going to have one kid. I'm only taking one kid.
The power of no.
The power of no. You got to say no.
Now, what about to yourself? I know that it sounds like it was no to everybody else, but what about no to yourself?
No, I need to tell myself yes. When I want to buy some new shoes, I need to say yes. Yes. Hallelujah, Lord.
It gotta be the shoes. Gotta be the shoes.
Yes, accessories. It's accessories. Yes.
Now, when it came to times, and I'm quite sure that you didn't really feel like, studying. You know what I mean? Like, how did you deal with that? Because I know there had to be some type of moments, with all that you were juggling, just okay, listen, this is just too much. I'm done. It's a wrap. Like, what did you do during that time of the point of fatigue, and how did you overcome that situation?
Like I said, I purposely set it up where I created my own due date. I created my own due date, so like it helped me to get things done in advance. Because even in school, you will have that period where you have that weekend where there's nothing to do. You do have those periods, those moments where it's like, okay, it's a free weekend, it was a free day. And so I would capitalize on those days and get things done on those days,
Mm-hmm.
And I definitely utilize daycare services and things like that. I know that we have one in our area, and it took me the longest time to allow others to help me because I feel like I had to do it all on my own.
Mm-hmm.
But I started utilizing some of the daycare services in my area, not every day, but I would, use it and like actually use it as a study day. And I would, like from morning to evening, crank out a paper, crank out my studying, crank out an assignment and get it done. And for me, also, it's important to choose a profession that you're passionate about.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, all my courses that I took, I was very interested in. I love mental health. I love behavioral health. So all those things for me was fun to learn.
Mm-hmm.
It was, and I like to write too. So my issue was actually like writing less. You had to tell me, Shanda, only 7 pages, only 5 pages. And I would be like, can I go over a couple pages? So find something that you love, that you're passionate about, and it will help to, decrease those moments of fatigue and stuff like that.
Wonderful. So we're getting ready to close it out here. You did an outstanding job. So I would like for you to share with those who feel like, well, I'm from the hood, I'm in the hood, I'm a mom, I'm a wife, I can't. If you would share your closing thoughts to encourage the person out there that feel like that their ethnicity and their gender and their responsibilities is just way too much for them to be able to accomplish their goals. This is your time to minister now.
Well, first off, the devil is a liar, right? And I guess, I remember a video by Malcolm X where he said, who taught you to hate your skin, right? So if you're feeling like defeated, who told you this? Who told you you can't do it? Who told you you can't excel? What are you feeding yourself to put this in your mind that oh, I can't accomplish this thing? Because once again, if your thoughts are negative, if you already have it in your mind that you can't do it, it's going to be very, very hard. It's going to be an uphill battle to press forward and accomplish it. It's going to be an uphill battle to do it. So first of all, look at the things that you're feeding yourself to have produced such negative thoughts, right? And let's be real. There are systemic factors in place to keep, people who look like us down. There are systemic factors set in place. So I think it's important to have a support system. I think about just, my experience in college. College is not designed for non-traditional students. College is not designed for non-traditional students. The workload, the requirements, the internships, things that they expect from you, they do not take into consideration if you're a mother, if you got to work, if you got all these other responsibilities or obligations, nor do they care. So it's important to make sure that you have a support system that is set in place to help you. You need somebody to help you watch your kids. You need somebody to help you when you had to study. You need somebody to be there in your corner. So if you can't do it, they can do that responsibility for you. It's so important to have that system set in place. For me as a military wife, there were times when my husband was deployed, and man, I didn't have that support. I didn't have him there to take the load. So I had to learn how to step outside my shell and people and build relationships with new people and utilize those sources. I had, if you're an island, you won't make it. You got to have people in your corner to have your back that will support you. And the one thing I do love about our people is that we definitely we can definitely develop strong supports and connections. You got to do it. Even if you're shy or you're timid, you got to do it. Build strong connections. So stop feeding yourself negativity. Stop feeding yourself the doubt. And also have people set in place to help you to excel and to succeed. That's so important. It's so important. And also know why you're doing what you're doing. Know why you're doing what you're doing. For me, I believe that God is leading me in this direction. So even when I experience like setbacks, I won't even call them failures, I'll say setbacks. I got back up because I knew that God wants me to do this. He will not let me fail. He will not let me fail. And whatever you do in your life, like, do it for you. When I first entered social work, I did it because, I want to help my foster kids. I want to help the social workers. I want to help the case managers. I want to help these different agencies. And guess what? In some way, they all forsook me. In some way, they all, let me down. Sometimes the kids will let you down. Sometimes they will disappoint you. Sometimes the system will disappoint you. Sometimes the agency will disappoint you. And so when it came down to it, I was like, you know what? Well, why am I doing this? Why not do it for myself? Because I want to give back. I want to make a difference in my community. Why not base it on me? Why not base it on God? So I had to make it. I couldn't make it about anybody else. I had to make it about myself.
Wonderful. That is powerful. Well, Kweens, thank you so much for. Oh, you got some closing remarks? Excuse me. I don't want to cut you off.
Too, as a military wife, I'm very, very passionate about helping other wives as well. Because throughout all this, I was also a military wife, and that comes with its own levels of stress and anxiety and fear and things like that as well. And I want to also just recommend for those who are military wives, once again, establish those support systems, connect with people, form relationships, right? Find things to do to keep you occupied so that you're not sitting there just stressing out. Don't feed yourself the news media. Don't watch the news at all during that time when he's deployed. Don't, because it's all negativity. If you read it, if you watch it, the one time he doesn't call you or what have you, automatically you're thinking, oh my gosh, is he hurt? Is he wounded? Is he gone? So you have to feed yourself positivity during that period of time. And it's so important to make sure that you study on PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder. It's so important to look at different articles and stuff and prepare yourself for when they return. Because unfortunately, I've been a military wife for 12 years now, and a lot of times my husband would come straight from overseas back home. There was no transition period. There was no period where they help him and talk to him and counsel him. He sometimes goes straight from overseas to home. And I know that's not just my case. I'm sure that's, a lot of us. So it's important for us to, be proactive and being that our own personal therapist for our home and for our spouses and our, even for, those who are married to, wives who are deployed, to help them to come back and reintegrate and feel that sense of normalcy, feel that, sense of love, and feel like they're a part of the family again. So I want to also mention that too.
Wonderful, wonderful. You did an outstanding job. We thank you so much for coming on the panel. Greatly appreciate you sharing your words of wisdom. Thank you for your transparency.
Thank you.
You know it, cousin. No problem. You're welcome. And we feel like here, everybody is tuning in that transparency brings transformation. So my queen, she said, thank you for being the Kevlon lifestyle model.
No problem. I love her. I love your wife, by the way.
And she love you too. We love you, family. We love you too. And we thank you so much again for taking out your time to come share. And so, family, as I promised, I told you after she would finish that whosoever is listening, whether male or female, it's not limited to gender. However, this is about Queens taking dominion. We have to have a positive picture painted for us to view, to be able to have a reflection of ourselves. And so for the queens that's out there, just look at Queen Shanda life. Look at her life. I want you to really take out a moment. I want you to pause and I want you to really meditate on what I'm saying. Look at your reflection. She's African just like you. She comes from where you are. She's been through a lot. But now she's been blessed with a lot because she kept pushing. And this is one reason why I brought her on here. It's to bring healing to your mind, to bring encouragement to you, and to let you know, yes, you can. Yes, you can. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in on this evening. Again, this is yours truly. I'm the CEO of Synergetic Network Group, LLC, Amar Amari. My queen, Amani Amari, is the co-founder. And we love all of you. We thank you all for your love and support, for those who shared and invited. Thank for everybody who participated and put your business in a comment. Our attitude is servitude. We're here to serve you. And just always keep in mind, we're the community liaison for entrepreneurs and consumers. So please let us know, if you'd be so kind, just to let us know how we can be of service to you. We're here to provide a platform for you to come on and to you to advertise your products and or services. Okay. So if you have a book that's out, whatsoever that you're doing that's positive and you feel like it needs some attention on a global scale, you like to use this platform, please feel free to reach out to myself. My queen's name is on the screen as well right now, and we'll be more than happy to assist you. We love you. Thank you. Good evening, family. Peace, love, and power.